All right, let's just jump right in. We need to talk about a major structural crisis in AI compute that, for the next 3 years, is going to define the winners and the losers in pretty much every industry. You see, we've built this new economy that runs on AI. And the scary part is, there just isn't enough compute to go around. And look, this isn't some far off prediction. This is happening right now.
And that right there is the absolute key to all of this. Please don't think of this as just another supply crunch for the IT department to sort out. It's not. This is a fundamental economic shift. The decisions your company makes literally in the next 6 months are going to determine where you land in this completely new landscape.
So, what's actually causing this perfect storm? Well, it really boils down to a few critical things all happening at once, creating this unbelievable pressure on our global tech infrastructure. So let's break down exactly what they are.
So here's the breakdown. We have this absolutely insane exponential demand smashing up against a supply that is physically, and I mean physically constrained. At the same time, the biggest players out there, the hyperscalers, they're basically hoarding whatever supply is left, which means, you guessed it, prices are about to go through the roof, making all of our traditional IT planning models totally useless. The window to do something about this, it's closing, and it's closing really, really fast.
To really get how serious this is, you have to start with demand. Because unlike any tech cycle we've ever seen before, the demand for AI, for raw intelligence, seems to have no limit. We just can't get enough of it. We haven't even found the ceiling yet for what we want to do with this stuff.
Let's try and put some real numbers on this. We measure AI use in something called tokens. You can just think of them as pieces of words or code. So right now, a really aggressive knowledge worker, someone who's living in AI tools all day, they're using about 1 billion tokens a year. That's kind of the baseline for a power user today.
But we're not staying there for long, not even close. As AI gets baked into everything we use, our email, our documents, our CRM, the average worker's usage is going to rocket up to 10 billion tokens a year. And that's expected to happen within the next 18 months. That's a 10x jump, just like that.
And this is where it gets truly wild. The next big shift is to autonomous systems. AI agents that call other AIs in these automated loops. This isn't just a jump, it's a whole different ballgame. It could easily push the top users past 100 billion tokens a year. I mean, these agents, they don't sleep, they don't take coffee breaks, their consumption just completely dwarfs anything a human could do.
Now, look at what happens when you translate those token numbers into actual dollars for, say, a 10,000-person company. That $20 million bill for today's power users, okay, it's a lot, but a big company can manage it. But when that jumps to 100 trillion tokens, you're looking at $200 million. And in that agent-driven future, a mind-blowing $2 billion a year. And here's the kicker. This all assumes that prices and capacity just stay the same, which, as we're about to see, is absolutely not going to happen.
So we have this completely insatiable demand on one side. But on the other, all the AI in the world runs on physical hardware. And that hardware supply chain is facing a massive crisis on 3 separate and pretty much unavoidable layers. This is where the problem becomes physically impossible to just, fix in the short term.
It's like a triple whammy. First, we're hitting a memory wall, where the specific chips needed for AI are just getting incredibly scarce. Then, below that, there's a huge choke point on the fab floor, which is where these things are actually manufactured. And to top it all off, we have a GPU lockup, where the finished processors are being bought up and hoarded by just a handful of giant companies.
Let's start with the memory. Turns out AI is what we call memory bound. It needs a ton of it to work. And this chart, it's not showing some gentle little price increase. This is projecting a price shock. We're talking about the cost of a core piece of AI infrastructure jumping by 50 to 60% in a single quarter. This isn't your normal market fluctuation. This is a flashing red light.
And there's just no easy way out of this. The 3 companies that control 95% of this market, they're not really making more. They're just shifting production to serve AI data centers. The really specialized memory, the high bandwidth memory that you need for the top AI models, completely sold out. And you can't just build a new factory. That takes 4 years and $20 billion. Even Samsung's president has gone on record saying these shortages are going to last through 2026. So here's the really critical part. Even if you could get the memory, it has to be manufactured somewhere. And right now, virtually all advanced AI chips, including all of NVIDIA's top GPUs, run through one single company, TSMC in Taiwan.
And their production lines, they're completely booked solid for years to come. The new factories being built in Arizona and Japan, they won't be at full scale until at least 2028. There is no backup plan. There is no alternative.
And that brings us to the final bottleneck, the GPUs themselves. NVIDIA's best-in-class chips are the gold standard, and they are totally, completely sold out. So why? Because the hyperscalers, we're talking Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, they've gone and signed deals for hundreds of billions of dollars to lock up almost the entire future supply for themselves. They've cornered the market, leaving everyone else to fight for the scraps.
And this is the part of the story most people are missing. We have this tendency to think of our cloud providers, AWS, Azure, Google, as our neutral partners. But in this new world of scarce resources, that assumption isn't just wrong, it's dangerous. Let's just be really clear about the assumption versus the reality here. We assume they're our partners, but the reality is they have become our competitors. They aren't just selling us infrastructure anymore. They are AI product companies. They use that precious compute to power their own stuff. Gemini, Copilot, Alexa, products that compete directly with whatever your company is trying to build. And when compute is this scarce, it's a zero-sum game. Every GPU they give to you is one they can't use for themselves. So, who do you think they're going to prioritize?
So this new world, with its crazy demand, its tight supply, and this new competitive friction, it all means that the way we've planned IT budgets and investments for decades is now completely and utterly broken. Following the old rulebook is a direct path into a crisis.
I mean, think about it. We built all of our financial models around predictable demand, stable tech, and available supply. None of that is true anymore. We're now in the AI era, with exponential demand, unstable tech that changes every year, and a massively constrained supply. Trying to apply a 5-year depreciation schedule in this environment, it's a recipe for disaster. And this illustrates the problem perfectly. Picture this. Your company spends $5 million on a whole fleet of fancy new AI workstations. The finance department, doing its job, puts them on a standard 4-year depreciation schedule. But 2 years later, your employees' needs have grown 10x, and that hardware just can't handle the new agentic workloads. It's not broken, it's just obsolete. And now you're stuck taking a multi-million-dollar write-down and going back to the board to ask for more money. That's how you end up with millions in stranded assets. Okay, so the situation is pretty dire. I get it. But it's not hopeless. The sharpest CTOs out there are already running a brand new playbook, one designed specifically for this crisis. It's about a huge shift in thinking, from just buying stuff to being strategic, from owning hardware to ensuring access to compute. Here it is, the floor-apart playbook for survival. Number 1, secure your compute capacity now, before the real price hikes hit. 2, build what's called a routing layer to stay flexible and in control. 3, change your entire company's mindset to treat hardware as a rapidly depreciating consumable, not a long-term asset. And finally, number 4, invest, and invest heavily in efficiency. Let's really focus on that routing layer for a second, because this is probably the most critical technical investment you can make right now. Think of it like an air traffic controller for all your company's AI requests. It's an intelligent system that decides instantly whether a task should go to a cheap, small model or an expensive, powerful one, whether it should go to your main cloud provider or a different one entirely. It gives you negotiating power, it saves you from getting locked into one vendor, and it might just be your most durable competitive advantage in this new world. And finally, efficiency. You know, this used to be some low-priority task you'd give to a junior engineer. Not anymore. Now, it's a board-level strategic issue. Because in a supply-constrained world, if you can get the same work done with 50% fewer tokens, maybe through better prompting or using smaller models, you have effectively doubled your available compute capacity without spending another dime. Efficiency is capacity now. Look, at the end of the day, this isn't just a technology problem. It's an economic transformation, and it's going to separate the winners from the losers. The companies that act right now, the ones that secure their capacity, build intelligence like a routing layer, and relentlessly drive efficiency, they're going to be the ones that lead. And the ones that wait, relying on the old playbook, they're going to find themselves locked out and left behind. The window is closing. The moment to move is now.